when Hans Ulrich and Klaus came to us 2.5, maybe 3 years ago with the idea of bringing 14 rooms to Basel, it was something that we jumped at immediately, although we guessed at how hard it would be to pull off. And it was a very natural decision for us. And yet, what's interesting is in the last 6 months, when people have heard about 14 rooms and have asked, Marc, why does Art Basel see the need to have this present? Why is it supporting such a major project in the context of the world's most important international art fair? It's a question that comes up time and time again. And in a way, it comes up, this new question ties into another question that we hear a lot when we're talking about Art Basel, which is what has made Art Basel so successful? And I think what has made Art Basel so successful is the fact that it has always stayed very close to the important artistic practices of the day. I think 25 years ago, Art Basel had a photography sector at a time when people questioned whether photography was something that serious collectors would even collect. In Sam's first year, Art Basel set up Unlimited, which, as you will see in the next hall in a few days, remains a great platform for huge pieces, the kinds of pieces that at the time people only thought an institution or a biennial would show. But now, of course, people have them as part of their daily homes. Obviously, you have to have a home of a certain dimension. But in the same way, performance art has been something that's become more important within the discourse of the art world. Not something that happens only in theaters, but also something happens in museums, in galleries, in streets. And although this is not performance art, and I'll get to that in a second, you know, it falls within a long trajectory for us, one that goes back to the 70s when Gilbert and George did their living sculptures, but also one that more recently goes to art on stage, which was in the Theater Basel in 2007 and 2008, and of course the Tempio del Postino, which Sam mentioned before, which came with a similar constellation in the sense that Hans Ulrich was one of the curators that also started the Manchester International Festival. And so for us, the opportunity to present this in the context of Art Basel made perfect sense because we've always tried to stay close to what the artists are doing, and there are so many artists I think are interested in working in this way, not in the classic mode of performance art, with a stage and an audience, but more about building an experience. And I think, as you'll see when you enter here, when you start to see these pieces, these are not pieces where you can hide in the corner in the back row. This is a very intimate experience. It's a piece that you will inevitably be part of. You know, that without you, without the press, without the audience, the pieces don't exist. In some cases, actually, in some literally cases, not at all. You'll see Dominique's piece, for example, in that case. So for us, again, it's something which falls very much within the tradition of what Art Basel does, and we're very, very proud to have it here. I think it's a singular thing, not only for an art fair, but also for the city of Basel to have here. And I think it's a singular, a unique, and even higher pushed version of what has been happening in the past, which I think Hans Ulrich and Klaus will talk about. So I wish you a lot of pleasure and I think a lot of challenge in going through these pieces. I think you'll have to leave your shyness or your self-consciousness at the door when you walk into this massive structure behind us. Thank you very much, and thank you very much again for the coverage that you'll give for this great project.
Ja, zurück in Deutsch.